Grand Risings, Divine Risings, peace to your rise. I love you, I like you, I like you. Um, I'm inspired this rise, y'all, to talk a little bit about my history with my womb. So, yes, let's see. Um, I'm just gonna start at 16 because the rest of it is the rest of it, okay? So at 15, y'all, excuse me, 15, I became pregnant with my first child, my daughter. And at 16, excuse me, I had an emergency C-section. Um, now, that was an emergency C-section for my daughter. It was totally uncalled for, which I discovered 11 years later when I had my son, who came vaginal, all natural, no tears, no rips, no nothing, needed no medical intervention whatsoever. So that let me know then that my body was fully capable of surrender, dare I say. In that moment, I just was not aware of the tools and the practices then that I have now that I share with my clients who are also transitioning into motherhood, be it your first or second time. Sometimes it just are skills that you can acquire, right? So, up until that point, y'all, I just remember all through high school, my cycle started early on, far earlier than everybody else. I must have been somewhere between, I can't even recall the window, but very early, fairly early than most of my classmates. My breasts and everything came in by like fourth grade. I think I was a C cup, or third grade, I was a C cup, something like that. It's also in your diet, all the hormones that I was taking in, all of the milk and the cheese and the dairy and the snacks, and I was popping at the candy house because I had spent a few months in a foster home, almost a year, I think, or maybe a little over. I just can't think of it now. And the candy house was out the back gate. Are you kidding me? So I was there. So then, yes, flowing through elementary, flowing through middle school, flowing into high school, painful periods, y'all. I remember I had a high school best friend at the time. Her name was Naja. Um, and we had like some kind of event or something going on at the school. And at the end of, or like mid event or something, I had to be rushed out of it and go straight to the hospital to be checked out because I was experiencing like the worst pain of my entire life. And that's happened multiple times in my life. But that was just one that I really remember as a young girl. I was like 14 or 15, or I wasn't pregnant with my daughter, so it was before 15, okay? Um, and it was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I was given things for acid reflux. I was given things for gas. I was given things for digestive concerns. On top of them providing me with antipsychotics, medicines that were supposed to help me level out my brain frequencies according to their studies in during my time period in foster care and some other shit. Okay, so all kind of synthetic medicines and foods and poisons are going into my body. Of course, my cycles are absolutely terrible. Every time they come in, I was bleeding like 7 days. I had painful, huge clots every time. I would be paralyzed practically to the bed for the first 3, 4 days. And then if I would go to school, right, or if I would go out or something like that, I risked an accident every single time. I had to change pads upon pads. I would do pads and tampons, and I would still accident. It was like the worst, the worst, the worst, okay? Until one day, y'all, all of a sudden, she just started disappearing. She stopped coming through, so I'm here, and she just started disappearing. And I was fine with that. I gotta be honest. At that time, I was like super fine with that because I was like, I'm so over the experiences of continuously bleeding. It was messing up my emotional life, my social life. I felt like it was messing up my physical health, right? Because I'm anemic, I'm cold, I'm losing all this blood all the time, right? It's messing up my intimate, at that, obviously I had a baby at 16, so it was messing up my sexual life, where I wasn't comfortable with certain things occurring, it was just too much for me. So when she disappeared, I was thankful. Okay, and then I had like, I'm saying it back to back because it was for a long time. I remember having cycles disappear for up to like 6 months. And in reverse, y'all, because everything comes full circle, I had a cycle that disappeared for 6 months, and then I had a cycle that lasted 6 months.
Ooh.
Okay? Because when you think shit is good and you think you've done good and you think that you're getting rewarded through the poison, it's not in fact a reward, it's an opportunity for you to learn something about yourself and you're just like, oh, it's a blessing. Well, then the shit comes on back and see, that's what happened. So my cycle lasted for 6 months. This was into my adult life. I'm like 19, 20, 21 at this time, right? I'm going to Kaiser because I'm like, stop it, or stop the bleeding, or like my mom was telling me about a hysterectomy, okay? So I'm like, stop it or pull it out, or whatever you have to do to ensure that I'm not going to be bleeding like this, because I kind of took the good with the bad. I felt like I've always been a fair person. You feel me? I have a fair energy. So I felt like because God gave me 6 months of no period. Okay, yay. Oh, I guess the fact that my period just kept continuing on and on and on and on and on was like, okay, if you get to 6 months and it keeps going, it's a problem. And so by like into the 6 months, like maybe the second or third week, I was into Kaiser trying to figure out what was happening. I figured 6 months worth of buildup needed to come out anyway. So much um, spirit talk and negotiation has to go into that. On top of this, y'all, I'm dealing with infertility, unbeknownst to me, okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind. I go to Kaiser, they give me birth control, they give me the shot, boom. They give me the pills, boom. My period stops, bam. It counters what my intentions were, which was trying to get pregnant. And I love how they convince me and tell me the story of how it regulates and it's going to get everything popping. And I'm not going to have to worry about not being able to get pregnant on the birth control. I love it. But it didn't quite sit right with me, okay? Because it's a clear contrast. And I wasn't,
I wasn't going for it. I just wasn't going for it. Okay, so
so I started taking it because I didn't have any other option. And again, I was tired of bleeding. But ultimately, those thoughts that I just shared were the ones that were in the back of my mind, always. So the period starts not regulating itself, but it stops being inconsistent. So now it's coming in, it's lasting a month, it's lasting 2 months, it's disappearing 2 months, it's coming back a month and a half, it's disappearing three months, and it's coming. And I dealt with that for some time, quite some time. Okay, and so this, y'all, led me to 11 years of perceived infertility. 11 years. And I was married, and most of y'all know all of these things. I was in partnership, long term partnership, 6 years, 3 years, you fucking name it. I spent most of my 20s in one relationship. And then I was married right after, damn near, like immediately after that one relationship. So I was always um, wanting to get pregnant. I have always wanted to have a big family. I always seen myself mother of many. I was like, give me a bunch of kids. I want to be the soccer mom, the PTA mom. I want to be the book club mom. I want to live in my little cul-de-sac and all the moms in the neighborhood and I have our book club and our travel stuff. Our kids do shit together. Because my vision has always been community. It has always been community, okay? So when they officially diagnosed me with PCOS, I started researching that motherfucker because it's like I always knew something was up because of what was happening with my body, but they never even gave me a word, besides the word that I was researching on my own, which ultimately led me to PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, all of these things. So they diagnosed me. I had fibroids, I had endometriosis, I had PCOS, I had PTSD because of all of it, I had insomnia because of all of it, and I had a really bad hormone imbalance because of all of that as well, which led to depression. The hormone imbalance, because the hormone imbalance caused me excessive hair growth, y'all. And I'm going through life wanting to learn how to love and embrace myself, and I'm feeling like, on top of me not feeling womanly, I have like features that are coming in that are manly. Okay, it was like terrible for me to have to journey through and walk through that on top of wanting to conceive and being unable to. So that's the mental health journey, y'all. That's the mental health journey of somebody traveling through infertility, perceived infertility, because again, I say it's perceived. This is my work, y'all. This is the work that I do. The offering that I bring to you all is the fruits of that journey's labor to this journey, that journey to this journey, and then to ultimately embodiment of one with myself, one with my body. My cycles come in, they last. Here we are now, right? They last four, with maybe a little spotting on that fourth, fifth day, right? That's the super lightest day. I'm up and kicking when she comes in. I have a yoni steam protocol, however, which is something that if you book your free 30-minute consultation, I can explain to you, y'all. The link is in the bio. I have my own womb protocol. I don't have to be sleeping when my cycle hits. They're not painful. They're not abnormal. They don't pop up when they want to. They're very consistent. I have a ideal time to um, conceive, right? If I wanted to, I have the best times to steam. I have the best times to do my womb meditations and my womb massages or my inversions. I have all of these things in order for myself for my most optimal womb health, okay? And it's a long time coming. And when I started looking for research to figure out how to heal myself from PCOS, there was very little information. So I created a group called Poly Sisters, and then the cyst was CYST because I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Okay, well that was one of the names I had came up with for that. Now, I'm sorry, Soul Sisters United. I'm sorry, we were called Soul Sisters United. Oh my God, that's what that was. Yeah, it was Soul Sisters United, and it was dedicated to women who were like myself, looking for support like myself because I felt powerless. I needed support. I wanted someone to hold my hand and walk me through it. And I never found that, y'all. So what did I do? I became that. I became the person whose hand you can hold to walk you through. Thankfully, I found she's my feminine embodiment coach now. My coach actually gave me some really beautiful insight as to developing myself while I was going through that phase, and it really really helped me and it transformed my life. Thank God for her, but I did not find anybody to walk with me through that journey specifically that I was calling in, So I invite you all to understand your traumas. I invite you to understand your pains, okay? Because they are truly medicinal if you allow them to be, okay? I am Soulflower Nefertiti Nula, goddess of Hana's Healing House, creatress of the Soul Unity Experience and the Soul Unity Day Retreat. I'm sorry, retreats. Um, Follow my Instagrams, okay, to stay connected. Tap in with me on YouTube for the full moon readings that are um, placed there every month. And click the link in my bio to learn more about my offerings and how they can support you on your womb wellness journey. Love you.